Hello and welcome to the Wellness and Empowerment Virtual Summit 2020. And we're so lucky to be joined by a very special guest speaker. Her name is Chol Cordero. She is a Peace Ed teacher at Creative Learning Path School and a volunteer at Teach Peace, Build Peace Movement. She's also a volunteer at Juan Portrait and at the Storytelling Project. She will be discussing with us the topic empowering communities through volunteerism. Hello and welcome, Chol.
Good evening.
So let's jump right off to your topic. Tell us a bit about yourself and what is your main reason why you got involved in volunteer work?
I would say I got involved in volunteer work starting when we were in college. It was my org in college was in Christ Trust for University Students, and it was a socio-civic religious group. So, natuto kami magturo sa mga bata from public schools. And I think that was the start of how I got very involved in volunteer work. And I would say the main reason is just the joy of serving.
Mm-hmm.
Yun yung pinaka-main reason. And then a lot of other reasons came out later on.
Mm-hmm. And then, could you tell us a bit about this photo?
Yes. So my husband and my daughter passed away 6 years ago. And this photo is of my family at the cemetery, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this was one of the months that we visit them. So sama-sama pa rin kami pumupunta. And I think our volunteer work became even stronger after we lost them because it also became a channel of expressing love. Palagay ko.
Mm-hmm. And then this one is?
This is my kids at Creative Learning Paths. I'm a preschool teacher. One of my jobs, my paying jobs, is as a preschool teacher at CLP. And this is one of my favorite classes, all girls. And they just like talking and discussing things, and it's so fun to listen to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then this one?
This one is a picture of one of my volunteer trips to Dingalan with Juan Portrait. Right at the middle, at the back, is Maestro Erwin Maliari, who's who's a watercolorist. So we go and go to different communities, nagtuturo ng artwork. One of the advocacies then of Juan Portrait is to take photos of the children and provide them IDs. So dun sa mga far-flung areas, we take it for granted sometimes na tayo may mga ID, sila wala silang ID, and it's their only legal document that they present when they apply in different kahit sa mag-apply sila sa kailangan for sports, let's say competitions, hahanapan sila ng ID, tas wala silang ma-provide, yung mga ganon. And it hampers development sometimes, which is what we could possibly take for granted. Pero One Portrait does that. We go to the far-flung areas and take pictures of the kids and provide art lessons and kung ano-ano pa.
Yeah, awesome. Huh? And then what is your most unforgettable volunteer experience?
I think one of the most unforgettable would be when we went to Maguindanao. It was the site of Mama Sapano, is where the SAF 44 happened. It's a place where when you hear about it, parang sino pupunta doon? Bakit mo pupuntahan yun? But I think it's unforgettable for me kasi ako yung na-assign sa parents. Meron kasi kaming team that handles teaching the children, teaching the teachers, which I'm also a part of. But ako lang mag-isa when it came to handling the parents kasi wala kaming volunteer old enough to reach out to parents. So ako na yung pinaka-matanda siguro sa sa volunteer group. And it was unforgettable because one of the parents one time told me na parang, ba't kayo nandito? Yung kami nga nakalimutan na kami ng sarili naming tao, and yet you come all the way from where you are and to teach us. So it was very heartwarming na parang ikaw ginagawa mo lang naman yun kasi gusto mong gawin. Hindi mo alam yung big laki nung impact dun sa tao na pinupuntahan mo. So I think that was one of the most unforgettable because I didn't realize how important it was for them also that we are there for them. Yes, this is also, I think, in Mama Sapano, one of the pocket sessions for the children. So once in a while, we go back and we try to learn of the needs of the children and of the parents and the community, and then we go back to give the requested sort of topics, follow-ups.
Oh, maganda yung illustration ha. Ikaw ba nag-illustrate?
No. It was one of the kids of our CLP family, actually.
Yeah.
So, nagko-collaborate yung CLP. Galing nga kasi when I started working for CLP, I was already volunteering for Teach Peace, not knowing that they were actually working together. So parang serendipity na talagang dito yata talaga ang nilagay. So both are advocates of peace building and teaching peace through education. And it so happened then that because it's the advocacy of the school, pag may volunteer work and I'm called to do it, pinapayagan ako ng work ko. So it works hand in hand really.
What do you think are the benefits of becoming a volunteer in a non-profit organization?
Volunteering benefits, medyo madami siya in terms of travel kasi marami ka nakikita na otherwise hindi mo mapupuntahan na lugar kasi hindi siya yung parang tour and ano. So yun, that's one of the benefits. And another, I think, is getting to know the culture of the people, first-hand experience. We don't live with all the communities, but we spend an amount of time with them to learn about, and I think kasi kailangan mo rin matutunan yung culture para hindi ka parang nanghihimasok sa kanila eh. So that's the benefit. It's like being in school, but not, you're learning it firsthand. And for me, one of the benefits of volunteering is being with my family. So nadadala ko sila. This picture was actually taken in, I think, Marawi. So we went to one of the schools and we have a lot of artists kasi with the volunteer group. So kasama yung mga bata sa pagpipinta. These are my children, Christine and Dong. So, kasama rin sila sa pag-volunteer.
Do you think volunteerism helps empower communities?
I think so, because there are a lot of things that we find out in the community that they need. And hindi nalalaman siguro firsthand hanggang hindi ka napupunta doon. Just like when we would go to Pulag, and malalaman mo na ang dami palang nabubulok na gulay. Yung ganon. Tapos we have a volunteer chef who actually goes there and stays with the community to teach ways to preserve paano gumawa ng kimchi. I mean, it's not part of their culture eh. So ikaw rin, ibibigay ka rin sa kanilang bagong kaalaman and nalalaman din nila kung pwede pala to, and then hopefully it becomes part of their industry or their development kung paano gagawin nila sa produce nila. Ganon. Tapos, with the storytelling project, I remember that dati, there's this community na gumawa sila ng storybook and they talked about yung alamang, which was something na parang pag hindi ka umangat sa buhay, yun na lang ang trabaho mo. But then later on, they saw how big pala a thing yung pag-aalamang can be, na it's a pride of their community instead of something to look down upon. Yun, that's another, no? And I think dun sa Mindanao naman, nakikita nila yung value nila through how people visit them and look at them with awe, with that you actually have something to teach others. Na parang kala nila, yung value nila, ganun-ganun lang. Pero bakit interesado yung ibang tao sa amin? So I think it gives them a different perspective also of how much they are valued.
Now let's talk about volunteer burnout. How do you work around that?
I think yung volunteer burnout kasi sa nangyayari kapag walang sharing ng roles or tasks. So, just like, siguro ako, hindi ko to masyadong nararamdaman ngayon. Pero, a while back in church, yung volunteer work doon, minsan natatambak kapag walang ibang gagawa ng trabaho. So, ikaw na lang at ikaw. Parang, tapos minsan masisigawan ka pa. Tapos, yung gano'n na aabot sa point na nakakapagod. So, I think yung burnout doon ay dahil kulang ng incentive for others to be a part of that. So, how do we work around that? Pwedeng may training for other people to get involved. Baka kasi yung iba na volunteers, akala nila hindi nila kaya yung certain tasks or they're there for the wrong reason, tas hindi nila alam na meron pala silang something to offer, or that kailangan din sila, kala nila pupunta lang sila doon to attend, yung ganon. So, I think it's helpful to have trainings, to also be very transparent with your needs, na sabihin mo na ito yung kailangan nating tulong ngayon, na sana meron namang ibang maging involved, and ang isang naging remedy sa community was actually to pay for someone. So malaking bagay din siguro yung funding na para magkaroon ng more people to, kung hindi kaya ng volunteer lang, maybe may help na merong babayaran na someone to
Freelancer.
do some of the job, some parts of the job that not all volunteers are able to do. Kasi kagaya ng sa church, maraming tasks na hindi pwedeng gawin lang ng isang tao, lalo na lahat kayo may ibang trabaho naman. So, you work from 8 to 5 and then 9 to 5 and then you go to your volunteer work, which is not paid, and then you're so tired pa. So, I think makakatulong talaga na mas malaki yung team, unang-una. Pangalawa, yung malagay ka sa isang bagay na efficient ka. Tsaka kung magpo-providean ka ng training, and I think hindi lang training, kundi team building activities for the volunteers would also help. So that you feel like a family more than just working as volunteers. You get to know each other better and you appreciate one another better also.
What do you think motivates volunteers? And could you please share some tips on how to attract more volunteers for a non-profit organization?
Nakalimutan ko pala kanina sabihin na one of the bigger benefits I think of volunteering is meeting people, not just the community that you go to, but the people you work with. And I think that's the biggest benefit and blessing that you have as a volunteer. Yung malaman mo na meron palang tao who share the same heart, the same advocacies, and are always, ang sarap mag-work kasi sa volunteer group dahil lahat pumunta doon para may itulong, may iaambag ka talaga. Yun yung talagang mindset ng pupunta doon. Wala talagang tamad. I mean, I haven't really experienced anybody na tamad sa volunteer work eh. So, I think ang saya ng pakiramdam. And naalala ko lang yun kasi dito sa question mo na what motivates the volunteers. I think yung camaraderie, yung kultura na alam mong pare-pareho kayo ng gustong makatulong. Yun. So I think that's one of the biggest things na nagmo-motivate. How to attract more volunteers? I think malaking nagagawa ng social media. Kasi yung Juan Portrait, we have a yearly meeting wherein the new volunteers come and we have an orientation for those who are interested to come. Maraming dumadating. So parang saan mo ito nalaman? So, and a lot of them don't know anybody at all. So parang, uy, saan mo nakuha yun? Nakikita daw nila sa social media. So yun, that's one of the things. Tapos we also have collaborations with other groups and we have fairs that we attend. So just like CLP has a peace fair every year and the other volunteer groups put up booths there to, kasi medyo pareho naman siya ng advocacies eh. So because they have the same sort of mga pakay sa community, no? So pinapayagan to put up booths there because it shares the same heart. So the more people who go to fairs, nakikita nila yon na may ganito palang group. Tapos another one is the I Volunteer, which is another group naman that puts all the volunteer groups together. So nag-fair yon. One happened in Glorieta last year, and a lot of different organizations were there. Tapos yung mga nagdadaan lang dun sa Glorieta, mga shoppers, nakikita na, ay, may ganito pala. Tapos may video presentation of places we've been to. Na syempre, ang attractive, di ba? Pumupunta kami sa Maligkong, sa sana pala nagpadala ng pictures nun kasi ang ganda ng lugar. So yun, that's one of the things that could really motivate you to, wow, talaga pumupunta kayo dyan? Paano pumunta dyan? Yung mga ganun. So, yeah. At saka kasi, relatively lower yung fees mo to go as a volunteer than to be a tourist. Kasi you pay for cost eh, di ba? Cost lang, wala ka namang, pero yun nga lang, hindi ka pumunta doon para mag-tour. Pero, minsan, kasama na yun. Yun. So, one of the perks then of volunteering in such organizations.
And then, this is Juan Portrait, no?
Yes. This is actually pamasko sa Maligkong. We brought, hindi yata kami nag-ID dito ng year na yon, pero nagdala kami ng Christmas gifts to the community. Tapos they presented their cultural dances. And then it started.
Where is it located?
Sa higher than Benguet. Parang nasa right side, pataas pa siya ng Mountain Province. Tapos ang nakakatuwa dito, Eleanor, after ng activity namin, umulan ng konti. Tapos yung rainbow, mas mababa sa amin.
Sana may photo no, no?
Parang yung rainbow, katapat mo lang. So, ganun kataas, ganun katarik yung lugar.
Wow.
Tapos may sea of clouds. Tapos, kala mo ang ganda na ng sea of clouds. Pag clear ng clouds, uy, terraces pala yung baba. Yung gano'n, talagang amazing, amazing.
Madali siyang or mahirap?
Matarek, pero yung sasakyan, umaabot siya hanggang dun sa where you could actually rent a place to stay. So, mahirap in terms of long travel, tsaka hindi siguro siya touristic area, but it's accessible by vehicle. Etong part na to, hindi. Pero yung hanggang part ng pwede mong tuluyan, abot ng sasakyan. So, wala masyadong hiking necessary.
How often do you meet dito sa Juan Portrait?
Juan Portrait has several projects during the year. So, depending on volunteer availability, so they give you the activity and then you sign up. Ganon, ano? They're like maybe 50 slots per trip. And different committees. And how often does that happen? Around June, madami-dami. Kasi magsa-start yung class, so we have brigada, and then we have IDs, and then bandang August, I think it becomes community frames, nagtuturo naman ng photo techniques to the children so that they can document their own culture. So I think it's spread throughout the year. Siguro I would say 6 activities at least throughout the year. And then we have at least one activity here in Manila also every 2 years, which is Christmas in Children's Hospital. So, yun, may mga iba-iba rin. We also answer to different calls, like let's say yung nagkaroon ng taal, explosion, eruption. So, parang, it was an opportunity for us to bring goods there. Sinamahan na rin ng portraits kasi siguro mga 50% or more than 50% of the volunteers of Juan Portrait are photographers.
Yes.
So, yun. What we do, and it's highly appreciated, is to take pictures of people in the community, print it out, and give it to them. And for a lot of them, it's the first time that they have an actual printed photo of themselves.
Wow. And then, where can people who are interested to volunteer find more information about how to get involved?
Okay, we have websites, we have Facebook groups, and I know we have Twitter or IG, and we'll just flash it.
Yeah.
We'll send it to you, para you can post it here too. We have One Portrait, the Storytelling Project, and Teach Peace, Build Peace movement. So we can give you those links, and I hope that you take a look at them and maybe see you in one of the projects.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Chol Cordero, for joining us at the Wellness and Empowerment Virtual Summit, and more power to you.
Thank you very much.